state funding with the TISA formula, so that'll trail off. So I didn't want you to think, oh, we're in amazing revenue shape, but nothing to be worried about. On the general purpose school fund side, everything looks like it should, comparable to last January of 2024. So, as I say, sometimes it's nice and boring.
Boring is good, right?
Boring is good sometimes in the finance world. The next page would be the general purpose, or the federal project school fund. With that, I usually try to stay within that 2 months, below 2 months of collections. I'm a little out of that on this financial statement, and the reason being is we spent a little bit heavy in January compared to the average. That's not unusual, but that skews the 30 or 60 days in arrears. So anecdotally, we're still looking at about 45 days, and the whole reason behind that is I want to get our money as quickly as possible. You avoid problems that way, but we're on schedule. No hiccups there. The last page would be the school nutrition program. Bottom line, we're at a surplus of $18,000. That is reflective of where we're at. I expect it to grow towards 36,000 and change, and that is the value of the commodities. My goal is a minimum that we have a surplus that is equal to or greater than the value of the commodities that we receive. Commodities, basically free food we get from the USDA, and the Food Service Management Company uses that food while producing meals. We get reimbursed for the meals, and they credit us the value of that commodity. SFE does. So that should be profit for us. It's kind of a rudimentary, very quick analysis of it, but it generally works out that way. The value of the commodities should be our surplus. That's barring any big equipment purchases. Any questions on the financial statements? I went kind of fast, sorry.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Ray regarding our January financial report? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve as presented.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further questions or comments? Kim, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Curtis Isabel,
Yes.
Lori Wilson.
Yes.
Tim Bible.
Yes.
Merle Price.
Yes.
Joey Smith,
Yes.
Debbie Heaton.
Yes.
Motion carries. Moving on to new business by the board. The first item up is our resolution for the state teacher stipend that will be coming up.
So this is a required component, so part of the Educational Freedom Act that was passed in the extraordinary session in January has a pot of money reserved for all certified teachers who work directly with students to get a $2,000 one-time bonus that will be paid out. The timing is real interesting, and it's just the way that the law was written, the timing of the session. But teachers have to be employed in the 24-25 school year, but then the funds, because the governor has to approve the budget before they can release the funds, and so that happens later on in the session. So the funds will not be available to us until the next fiscal year, which will be July. And so I know they're working very, very hard to get the money to us. We received a memo from the commissioner actually yesterday that said that they're committed to trying to get that to districts as quick as they can in July once the new fiscal year starts. What we are planning on doing in Clinton City Schools is because we are able to, when you pay out a stipend any later than July, after we've had our retirees and people leave the system, that becomes difficult because we need to end them in payroll. And so we're going to go ahead and we will have the list of who qualifies for this $2,000 stipend, and we will plan on going ahead and paying that out in July, regardless of whether that money has come from the state or not, knowing that it's going to come and we're going to get reimbursed. But part of that law stated, and this isn't a bad thing, I think we've talked about this before, but, when the state allocates money and they say that teachers are getting raises, I mean, we are very, very blessed in Clinton City Schools. We don't, we've done a great job of having lots and lots of support. Other systems, when they get money from the state, because BEP and TISA has never been it's never been a spending formula, it's been a funding formula. So they give us the money, but they can't dictate how we spend it. So in the past, they would say, we're giving this much money for teacher raises, and then there would be rural districts and districts around the state that are like, am I going to give teachers a raise, or am I going to fix this roof that is leaking and, water's flowing in the building and it's unsafe for kids? And so sometimes the money didn't always necessarily reach the teachers as intended. That's never been the case for us, and it's never been an intentional act by any school board, because we all want to recognize the teachers, but sometimes things just pop up and you've got priorities. And so this was the reason for the resolution, is that they just wanted to ensure that if this money was tagged for teachers, that it actually gets in the pocket of teachers. And I think that's a fair request. And so we would make sure that that happened anyway. And so Chris McCarty, our district attorney, has written this for all of his school systems. SBA came out with one as well, but I thought this was I just like the wording of this one better, because I thought it kind of summarized what we were doing. So nothing controversial in here, just basically we want to opt into Section 4 of the Act. We would like to give our certified teachers the $2,000 bonus. This is not going to cover our instructional coaches, because they do not touch children 100% of the time. They basically teach teachers. It won't touch our administrators, and so there's going to be it won't touch our classified, all of our classified staff who are not certified. I know historically we have never rewarded one set of staff members without recognizing everyone, just because we are a firm believer that it takes every single person that walks through that door fighting for kids, and that's what achieves our success. So we want to get this tapped out and paid out, and then what I plan to do is in August, I will bring to you all a proposal for, I think with our certified, we would certainly want to maintain that $2,000, but I will come to you with what I feel like that we can handle for our classified and reward them in some capacity as well. But I will bring that to you all in August for you all to approve for probably a September payout. So that's how we plan to address that. So today what is before you is just a resolution saying that we want to opt into Section 4 of this act, and we would like for the state to release funds to us to pay out that $2,000 one-time bonus.
All right. Any further questions or comments? All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the resolution as presented. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, Kim, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Curtis Isbell,
Yes.
Lori Wilson,
Yes.
Tim Boppel,
Yes.
Merle Price.
Yes.
Joey Smith, Debbie Heaton.
Yes.
Motion carries. Moving on to increase our number of financial institutions from 4 to 6. We kind of touched on that at our last board meeting there, Scott, but if you want to just give us a quick summary.
Sure. I think last board meeting, I got a little bit ahead of myself. Last board meeting, we approved an increase in the amount that we can invest in the local government investment pool. I had also included increasing the number of banks that we can put money in for a certificate of deposit from 4 to 6. So that's what I'm bringing you. That was not on the agenda last month. We moved it to this month, and that is what we'd be voting on. Just moving it from 4 to 6, and right now we are 3 out of 4. I haven't even utilized the 4th one yet, but we have the money to do so. So probably will do that after spring break.
All right. Any further questions for Scott? Hearing none, I'm going to entertain a motion to approve increasing the number of our financial institutions from 4 to 6 for investment purposes.
moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none. Kim, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Curtis Isbell,
Yes.
Lori Wilson,
Yes.
Tim Bople.
Yes.
Merle Price. Joey Smith,
Yes.
Debbie Heaton.
Yes.
Motion carries. Moving on to reports and information.
Okay, we'll move on to some principal reports. Miss Bone Steel, she's changed her clothes today, you all. She had read day, and she was Winnie the Pooh just a few minutes ago, and she's changed her, she's changed her clothes.
So that's what I was going to start with. We had our annual Read Day celebration today, and we had lots of guest readers that came to read at our school. So every class had 4 to 5 guest readers that came to read. We also did buddy reading, where the younger grades got to buddy read with the upper grades, and that's always fun to see some of the siblings that are in like 5th grade reading with their kindergarten brothers or sisters. And then we had a costume contest where we chose the best book character costume. So it was just a really good day of having fun and celebrating reading. We did a February donation drive. We called it Show SCES a Little Love, and we have raised over $9,500. So we are super excited about that, and that's going to go right back to classrooms and to buy materials for teachers to use with their students. I wanted to recognize our 2 6th grade teachers, Miss Neal and Miss Maples. They were both out today presenting at a STEM expo in Gatlinburg. They were asked to present how they have been using podcasts to have students create podcasts as a way to present information on different topics. I think those are available, some of them online for you to listen to. The students have loved it and been super excited about creating podcasts about different topics in social studies. So they got to present that and represent Clinton City Schools there today. We have our kindergarten roundup coming up on March 25th. I can't believe it's almost time for that, but coming up soon. And then we had Travelin' Tom's Coffee came to our school on March 5th this week, and it was paid for by donations from our parents, and they funded enough for all of our teachers and staff members, custodians, and cafeteria workers to each have a free beverage from the coffee truck. And so I just want to say thank you to all the community members that supported that for us. So
Again, lots of good things happening. Your culture is fabulous at South Clinton Elementary. All right, Miss Kidwell. Miss Kidwell's going to present Clinton Elementary today. Miss Sharp is feeling a little under the weather today. So we're going to gear her up and warm her up for principal reports for North Clinton next year.
Yes, which I did get to spend a little time there yesterday in professional learning, which was really great. And coming off of a great conference where Ms. Sharp, myself, and Ms. Bonesteel went to Washington, D.C. for the NIET National Conference this past week, and it was phenomenal. It's an intense day and a half because it's a lot of high-level thinking and it's a lot of deep conversation, but we brought a lot back that we're eager to share with the team that just builds on the work that we're already doing with NIET. It's kind of nice to go and just be able to go deeper as opposed to tread water for a little bit, because it's intense learning and we're super grateful for it. And to be in the capital city was pretty fabulous too. We had STEM night last week while we were out of town, and it's a huge thanks to Vicki Bible, who always heads that up. And I bragged on her the other day yesterday in the hallway, and she just said, I just love to do it. That's really what she said. It's a passion of hers, and it is very obvious as it comes out with her partnership with ORAU, with securing that and the work that she does to make sure our kids have a great time. So we had a great turnout, and lots of folks bragged on it. Mr. Case showcased some grade level music. Miss Swanner had an art activity in there, so it became very much more of a STEAM than a STEM night, which was fabulous. We had Read Week this week, Read Across America Week, but today was Read Day, so we have had, I had my Mary Poppins hat on earlier, because that's who I want to be when I grow up. But and we had lots of friends come in dressed up. We had several readers come in to play. Stephanie Brock, who teaches first grade, her sister and brother-in-law always host a dessert table and treat table for our readers. They've done that for the past several years, and they set it up, which is super kind. Lots of guest readers came to read today. Lots of family members came to read, and it's been fun. We've dressed up all week for it. We are actually finishing up parent conferences as we speak right now. We've had a great turnout, just a great way to round out the third 9 weeks and gear up for testing and the end of the year. So lots of positive interactions happening in the building right now. Future dates to note, the Department of Ed is coming to Clinton Elementary on it says the 8th, I think it's the 18th, the Tuesday that we get back, maybe the 19th, from 9 to 10:30. They're bringing Rocky the Reading Raccoon, and we'll get to walk around and see some early literacy happening in second grade and third grade, I think in particular is where we're going to lean, but it's always fun when they come to visit for sure. And then TCAP testing begins in April, and we're ready. I'm going to say that right now. We have worked very, very hard, so we're just ready to show what we know for sure. But we've got a lot going on, and we're thankful for it.
Very good. And what was our favorite guest today, Miss Kidwell, for Read Day in Miss Chitwood's class?
We had a special guest. Her name was Belle, and she happens to be a 2-week-old lamb that came today. The Chitwoods they're phenomenal, but their daughter Jonah, big part of FFA and big active with sheep, with cow. I mean, just does a lot of things. And this lamb, she has put a lot of energy into, and it was just like having a baby that everybody just wanted to pet and hold and walk around. So super, super sweet. So it was a fun way to start the day. First time I have seen a lamb in person. I've never been around sheep like that. And it was fun. It was a great way to start the day.
I didn't realize they were quite so snuggly.
I didn't either.
Another really cool thing that one of her teachers did was her grandmother, who was very, very meaningful to her, wrote all of these poems when she was growing up about childhood and just wonderful poems. And she would come every Read Day and read to the class her poems. And she passed away this past year. And so this teacher had her family members read one of her grandmother's poems, and she showed those videos as part of Read Day. So that was another special event at Clinton Elementary School. All right, Ms. Ryle, let's hear about North Clinton.
We've had a busy February. We had Rome State Community College dental students that came to show some proper dental hygiene to our K-2 students. And then we had Danette Jackson from the University of Tennessee Knoxville Nursing School came to demonstrate proper hand washing techniques. So we're working on our hygiene. And we also had Read Week last week. And we had some guest readers, Jason Taylor and Tim Jackson, that were reading for students at the beginning of the week. At a kickoff assembly, we had dress-up days all week, and we finished up with Dress Like a Book Character Day. We had many community members come to be guest readers in classrooms, including central office staff, families, former teachers, and high school cheerleaders, community members, and even a school board member came to read to our students. And we want to thank Peyton Tippett and Janie Jackson, our librarian and fourth grade teacher, that set this up and always do a great job with this each year. In PLCs, we're still working on focusing on analyzing student work to determine potential misconceptions and use a data analysis action plan to strategically plan remediation and/or acceleration based on students' needs. And teachers are then providing a short reflection of the results of the previous plan and their impact on the student achievement, as it is linked to research-based best practices used in lessons. So lots of good work, lots of meaningful instruction happening, and we're just trucking right along, getting ready for all the springtime activities. Individual spring pictures are going to be this month. And we've got just a handful of activities since we've got spring break coming up.
Thank you. That sounds
Thank you.
great. And Joey, who was your favorite person that you saw at North Clinton?
My favorite, well, all of them.
Well, all of them are favorite, but you also saw, who was your picture with?
Legendary librarian Janie Jackson, who has worked here for 43 years, she said, and was my librarian back in the magical time known as the 80s.
Your picture with her?
She read Jack Tales to us.
Yes, yes.
And when I was there, I told the kids, I said, you know, you really never grow out of being read to. And they, I don't know if they believed me, but I said, it's true.
It's true. It is true. And we have one more short presentation from Dr. Jamie Jordan. Today, we had a group. We had Miss Ray, Mr. Neal, and Laura Roberts have been in a coordinated school health state meeting today. And so a pretty cool thing happened for Clinton City Schools today that I'm going to let Jamie tell you about.
Yes,
there is the State Coordinated School Health Institute that's held every year in the spring. And typically what they do is there's an award given out to, for the 7 elements of coordinated school health. And one of those is staff wellness. But they give that out across 147 districts. And our Laura Roberts won that award for staff wellness for the state of Tennessee. And some of the great things that Laura has done for the staff, she sets up a weekly staff yoga class. And a few years ago, we had a dance class for staff. We have a pop-up staff wellness room that involves massagers, white noise, coloring books, calming strategies. She has set up a water drinking challenge in the spring for staff members. She schedules their flu shots and is sending out newsletters, emails with healthy tips and healthy recipes. She is even in charge of our specialty tea Wednesdays called Wake Up Wednesdays. So she sends that out and organizes that so staff members can get teas delivered to the school. So we're really proud of her, and to receive that award across 147 districts is a huge honor. Thank you.
So we got to participate via FaceTime today as she got it, so.
Is it open to board members, the massage and all the?
It is. You need to tell Laura Roberts that we would like for the pop-up to be a part of a school board meeting one day. That we'd like for that to pop up right over here, so.
Yes, please.
Oh, that concludes all of our reports.
All right, please look over the other items of information there, and we'll move on into our director's report.
Okay, just a couple as we slide into spring break. Few Clinton City updates. Today, believe it or not, is the last day of the third 9 weeks of school. And we look back and we do not even know where this year has gone. It has gone so incredibly quickly. But due to spring break, that will delay report cards a little bit, but they'll go home on Friday, March 21st. Kindergarten registration process is underway for students, and so if a parent has a child who is going to be 5 on or before August the 15th of this year, they can call central office at any time to set up a registration appointment. Kindergarten registration will be held at the following schools on these dates, and I do need to say that 2 of these dates have switched from the email that I previously sent you. So now March 25th is going to be at South Clinton, and then March 26th will be at North Clinton, so that's a flip-flop, and then Clinton Elementary will remain on March 27th. So we are having parents call central office to make those appointments, and we are extremely excited to meet our new kindergarten children. And as they come to register, as you know, part of our summer learning program, we've started the Kindergarten Boost Camp, where all of our rising kindergartners can attend that 4-week summer learning camp just to help get them ready to start kindergarten. The good news is we have had such response to that. And if you speak with kindergarten teachers, they tell you what a huge impact that program has had, just from simple things like, being able to hold a pencil and to hold scissors and to, sit appropriately in a group or walk in a line. All of those things they focus on, and they just come to kindergarten more ready. And so kindergarten teachers can tell the students who have attended this. So in the past, we've had 2 classes, but we are prepared this year that if the demand is there, that we are going to have 3 classes, so we can serve up to 60 incoming kindergarten students. So we sincerely hope that parents consider taking advantage of that opportunity to get their kids ready for kindergarten. And then, as Abby said, the Department of Education is coming to Clinton Elementary School to see us see our literacy in action, and Riley, the reading raccoon, will also be there. We were under the impression that the department would be Riley the reading raccoon, but we have since discovered that we have to provide our own person to be Riley the reading raccoon. And Joey, as much as I know that you would have enjoyed doing that, our own Dana Denton is going to be Riley the reading raccoon, and she is super excited about it. The transfer period is going to be from April 1st to May 15th. Transfer forms are going to be on the district website on April the 1st, and then they can also be picked up in central office. There's no fee required for them to apply for a transfer once they are accepted. For this year, we are keeping the transfer fee at $25, which is a one-time fee. As you all know, the CES parking lot has been paved. We are very excited about that. Long project in action. We should receive the RFP responses for our playground equipment on the Monday after spring break, which is March the 17th. Starting at the beginning of the 25-26 school year, we will lose that bottom parking lot behind Clinton Elementary, because that's where the playground is going to be. So at that point, we call it the Wiggles and Giggles parking lot, but the parking lot that has existed, that has just been available parking for anyone. And we have graciously allowed our neighbors at the middle school to share that parking lot with us because we had plenty of room. Ms. Sharp did make contact with April Myers today to let her know that starting at the beginning of next year, that is going to have to be a Clinton City Schools staff and visitor parking lot only. Not because we don't love the middle school, because we do. It's just that we are losing that parking, and we'll have to have that parking for our staff. So we will work for signs, and then we plan to give staff members a car tag, just so that we will know that they're allowed to park there. But the Clinton Middle School has a large parking lot on the other side that the city lets them use that is kind of adjacent to Jerry Slant's accounting office, and it is a huge parking lot. So they're not gonna lose parking space, it's just they'll have to go to the other side. We received a preliminary estimate on our auditorium chairs this week. For some reason, I want to always call them bleachers, and I have no idea why. But the preliminary estimate came in a little lower than what Scott Ray thought it would. Imagine that. But it came in at about $144,000 is what we are anticipating. So Sean is working on the vendor to complete the digital mapping, and then we're going to try to get those chairs orders, but things are still happening there. And then we've actually begun our hiring process for next year. I think one of the keys to getting the very, very best, which is the single most important thing that we can do, is to provide a high-quality teacher in every single classroom for kids. And we do that by hiring early when we can grab the best. And so we are actually in process of interviewing right now. Lori Collins has done some interviews, principals have done some interviews, but we are accepting applications online for teaching positions, teaching assistant positions, and also a speech and language pathologist at North Clinton Elementary. So you're going to see some social media shout outs as we try to get the very best. We attended UT Job Fair earlier this week, and we really I think it's a great move, but instead of us going to the job fair and telling people about Clinton City Schools, we are now letting our teachers go to the job fair and tell people about Clinton City Schools. Because as a teacher, I would rather hear from a teacher about what it's like to work in the system versus letting me tell people what it's like to work in a system. So we sent Laura Neal, Andrew Chitwood, Dominique Chitwood, and Peyton Tippett. So we had representation from all three schools, and Laura Neal took it upon herself, and she created a rubric for the people who attended the job fair. And so they came back with a nice compiled list of resumes and rubrics and who they thought would be a good fit for Clinton City Schools. And let me tell you, we really rounded up some really good potential candidates. So we're excited about interviewing and trying to find a good hiring group for next year. And then, as they all said, we ended the day on a high note with Read Day. We thoroughly enjoyed having lots of people and community members come into the schools. It's always a great way to end before we go into spring break. So when we get back from spring break, we will be in the wonderful race to TCAP mode, and so we will be actively preparing our students for testing and to be prepared for the annual assessment. And so before you know it, the school year will be over with, and we'll be doing sixth grade graduation at Clinton Community Center. So, but that concludes my report. Any questions for me?
All right. Great things continue to happen at Clinton City Schools. And with that, I'll declare this meeting adjourned.
I think so.